Before I get into this, let me go ahead and give you some important backstory. A good friend of mine and I were on the western coast of Florida hanging out, specifically the Gulf Coast. We were having a great time. We had found this great secluded spot right there along the shoreline where nobody else was, and were drinking, enjoying the sun. After all, it was a very warm day in April, so we're just sitting there, lost in whatever conversation we were having, when my friend looks over at the water because he hears something. He then turns his attention towards the water. I follow after, and we both see it. Suddenly, I saw the water churn and I heard a deep, guttural noise. I see this huge green creature with spines all over it, shooting up out of the water. It had a long tail and a big head with a very wide mouth. This thing jets up out of the water, running right for us, like a man in a swamp monster costume. It was crazy. This thing was something you can't even imagine. It honestly kind of reminded me of the thing of the Black Lagoon, but much uglier. We don't even waste a second. My friend and I just turn around towards the Everglades and start running as hard as we can to outrun this thing. It catches up to us pretty quickly, just due to its immense speed. It was able to not only emerge from the water as quickly as it did, but it was running after us fast. I remember thinking to myself, what is that thing? And I'm running as fast as I can, and my friend is now right behind me. We're running through the thickest parts of the Everglades as fast as we can, hoping this thing cannot catch up to us. It's a pretty long area we were running through, and we were beginning to get tired. I could hear it breathing. Its breaths were loud and deep, and I knew we were not going to be able to outrun this thing forever. I could not force my legs to move faster than they were already going, and I knew that this thing was now following us into the Everglades. I turned around to see what this thing looked like, fully up close, and it was honestly the most terrifying sight. This horrible-looking creature, in much more vivid and unpleasant detail. Let me just start off and say nothing about this thing looked nice. It was disgusting, like a cross between toxic waste ooze, a murloc-looking thing, and some sort of amphibious frog mutation. This thing was about 10 feet tall from what I could tell. It was huge. It had a long tail with black spines shooting out its back, and it had a large, wide-open mouth, lots of tiny, sharp teeth, tiny little teeth. It had weird little eyes on the top of its head, too, and it had 2 arms that were about 3 feet long each, very long, and it had these massive, strange pincer-type hands. They were only a few fingers, I guess you could call it that, more like appendages. This thing was covered in slimy skin, or maybe scales. I couldn't really tell. It was moving in on us, and fast, and I could see that it was getting ready to attack. I didn't know what to do. I looked back at my friend as we're running, and he was just as frightened as I was. I hear this thing make a loud hissing sound, kind of like an insect does. And so here we are, stuck in the middle of the Everglades with this thing. It appeared as if it was going to attack. I just remember my friend and I looking at each other, and so we began throwing rocks at this thing, hoping we could at least stun it or knock it down. I threw one of the biggest rocks I could find at it, and it made a loud thud when it hit the creature right in the head. It didn't appear fazed at all. In fact, it only started running directly at us more. We knew we were not going to be able to outrun this thing forever, so we just kept running into the Everglades. I remember being so tired, but I had to keep going. It was hot, and I was sweating. I was breathing so heavily, and I was just exhausted. Finally, We come upon a big tree that was just kind of standing out from the rest. It was right in the middle of a very small clearing. I could see that this tree was covered in a similar slimy substance that was on this creature. My friend and I, thinking quickly, veered off the path, literally diving and flying into a very small section of brush for cover. I could hear the creature running right toward us. It stopped by the tree and was looking around for us. Because we kind of cut a corner, it did not see that we both dove into this small brush, and it could not find us. It was kind of letting off a low growl, kind of like cats do. I was looking up at it through the brush, and I could just see how ugly this thing was. It was really frightening, and it kept looking for us, making these little clicking noises. It was angry that it could not find us. So my friend and I stayed quiet, stayed in our little section of brush, waiting for it to leave. After what seemed like an hour of waiting, we heard the creature's footsteps move away from us and start looking in different areas. It probably wasn't even an hour, but it sure felt like it. We sat and waited a bit longer to make sure we could not hear it anymore. Finally, we decided to get out of there. We just walked out to that section of brush and started walking in a different direction entirely. We had no idea where we were, and I remember being so scared. It was like the thing was going to start chasing us the moment it knew we were out in the open. I remember this being one of the scariest things that has ever happened to me. I wish I could have got a picture of it with my phone, but I didn't want to take a chance, so I just kept running out there in a different direction. As we're going in this different direction, we began to hear those weird clicking noises, the same ones that this was making, except all around us, as if there were more than one of them. I'm not sure if that explains why there was that strange substance of slime on that tree or what. After that, we decided to just call one of our other friends and have him pick us up. We didn't want to be in the Everglades alone with this thing, or possibly more of them out there. We were both so drained from running, and we just wanted to get back to our car. After maybe an hour or so of walking out of the way, we eventually make it. Our friends were there waiting for us by the car, just to ensure that we were safe. We explained to them that somebody tried to chase us and hurt us. Of course, that wasn't truthful, but we knew they wouldn't have believed us had we told them this strange thing from the sea came out of the water and chased us on shore into the Everglades. My friend and I and our other friends went back to his house. That's all I kind of remember of that day. But I will never forget the thing I saw that day. I'm not sure if it was an alien or what, but I do know that when I got home, I looked it up and found out that there have been sightings of this creature in the Everglades, but reports are far and few in between. Some call him Crawfish Man. I have never seen anything like it, and I really don't know what it is. I have never been so scared in my life. This thing that was chasing us, it was like it was angry that we were in its territory or home. That's how I kind of internalized it. Either way, just be careful when you're at the beach that you don't piss off the wrong thing and end up in a horror science fiction movie like we did.